You're watching K34QB, Vail, Colorado.
Good morning. It's Wednesday, September 25th. We've got a great show for you today on Good Morning Vail. Holly Johnson is going to be in the studio from Growth Solutions Coaching talking about building wealth. A great interview to kind of help you get along and build some wealth. And then we'll be talking with singer-songwriter Maisie K, who's an up-and-comer on those pop charts. Already has a couple top 10 music songs out there right now, so she's going to be joining us talking about her musical career and how she's doing. All of that and the local weather coming up your way here on Good Morning Vail.
Get up, get ready to start your day. The mountains are calling you out to play. Come on, we'll make you feel right at home. Good morning, Vail. See what lies in store for you. There's so many things to see and do. Summer, winter, spring, or fall. Your home in the Rockies has it all. So get up, get ready to start your day. The coffee's brewing, you're on your way. The fun is waiting outside your door. Good morning, Vail.
Well, thank you for joining us today on Good Morning Vail. We've got a great show for you, like I was saying earlier, but let's take a look outside right now at that local weather. It has been an absolutely beautiful month of September. Today, getting up 48 degrees, a high today of 78 degrees, light winds out of the southwest, 5 to 10 miles an hour. So going to be an absolutely beautiful day out there. We've got the I-70 corridor, 87 degrees in Denver. Vail has 78, 79 degrees in Avon, and Eagle is a sunshine 82. So that I-70 corridor is absolutely beautiful all the way down. Now this evening, lows are going to go down to 48 degrees. It's going to be a beautiful clear night. Last night was just a great night. Get out and look at some of those beautiful stars out there. And again, not much wind tonight, southeast, 5 to 10 miles an hour. So going to be a great night. Get out there and look at some of those stars. Now look at this 5-day. We got a little bit of precipitation moving in on Friday, but tomorrow is going to be just another gorgeous day. 76 degrees is going to be the high. Friday, like I said, some precipitation rolling in, 40% chance of that happening. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, again, picture perfect days, 75, 74, and 73 respectively, with some moderate lows, 45, 46, and 44. But again, going to be a beautiful time to get out and enjoy those amazing fall colors as those trees continue to change. So get out there and have some fun. We'll be right back with more Good Morning Vail.
Good morning, Vail.
This is Necklace. This easy-to-use, non-surgical alternative improves the appearance of sagging skin around your neck and jawline. Made from medical-grade tape, Necklace lasts up to 10 hours, giving you a firmer, smoother look all day long. Women everywhere are thrilled with the results.
Necklace is my time machine, and I'm loving life again.
Necklace is way better than surgery. It's cheaper and it's easier.
Use the on-screen QR code or visit sagnomore.com to order now. We even give you a money-back guarantee. Try Necklace today.
Stevie Lee Woods presents Nashville Roadhouse Live, where country meets rock and roll.
It's where I drank my first beer, where I found Jesus, where I wrecked my first car, I tore it all to pieces. Join us every week for more live performances right here on Nashville Roadhouse Live.
Did you know that all Eagle County residents and visitors can get a free Eagle Valley Library District card? All you need is a photo ID. You get our online databases and resources, free music, free streaming, all from wherever you have internet access. Free audiobooks and e-audiobooks straight to your phone. Go into your Eagle Valley Library District branch today and get your library card.
Well, get out the pots and pans, heat up the oven, because it is National Cooking Day. We're going to take a look at a segment where Kim makes an inside-out egg roll.
Well, welcome back to the show. I'm so excited because I'm making one of my easy and favorite weeknight meals. I love some Chinese food, I tell you what, but I also particularly love the egg rolls, but sometimes I don't want it, something that's greasy and fried, and I'd love to eliminate those extra carbs if I can. So we are making inside out egg rolls, basically everything but the wrapper. So I'm over here just sauteing up some ground turkey meat, but you can do ground turkey, you can have ground chicken. If you're going and if you don't really care about the fat content, you can always do ground beef as well. But I've got my ground turkey just over here sauteing up, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna finish cooking it a little bit longer. Then we're gonna drain some of the excess liquid off of the ground turkey into a bowl, or you don't wanna pour it right down the sink because that's not gonna be good for the kitchen. So let me grab a bowl here out of our sink, or out of our cupboard. We're gonna continue sauteing it down. You can see it's just really browning nicely. I've got the oven or the stove on medium heat right now. So we're just gonna keep on grinding it up, just making sure that it's fully ground down and it's nice bite-sized pieces. And you can leave it chunky if you want to, but I like to make sure that mine is nice and minced up, because that's the point of using a ground meat if it's not. So we'll just keep mincing that up. It's looking great, and it's okay if there's still a little bit of pink because we're going to continue to cook our vegetables. So we'll just take this and we'll dump some of that excess liquid off into the bowl. It's okay if we lose a little bit of it there. Just dumping it out. You probably want to make sure that your stove is still off, and we lost a little bit into the bowl, so I'll just scoop it out just like that. Boom. All right, so it'll still have a little bit of the liquid in it, and that's totally okay. Totally okay, because we do need some of that juice to add other things in. But what's part of this recipe is the coleslaw mix. So you want to make sure that you have that coleslaw mix. You don't need the sauce because we're not doing anything mayo based, but the cabbage is what makes it easy and what makes this really much like an egg roll. So what you're gonna do is we've got the meat going on. We've got our coleslaw. We also want to add in some garlic and some ginger. So I'm gonna take about a half a teaspoon of both. We've got some minced garlic here. You can always dice up your own, but if you're like me and it's during the week, the last thing you want to do is spend 2 hours in the kitchen. So we're going to take about a half a teaspoon of garlic. We're just going to dump it in. I like a little extra garlic in mine, so I'm just going to go a little overboard here. We've got the garlic into our pan, and then we're using ground ginger. You can use regular ginger as well, but I find in recipes like this, the ground ginger is just as effective as actual ginger. So we'll just put that in there. Just like that, and whoops, if I go a little over, who cares? So I'm doing equal parts, half a tablespoon of the ground ginger and of the garlic. We're gonna give it a quick little stir, just to get all of that seasoning mixed on in there. Now, if you want to, you can always, add some extra onion into this initial mix. Some people don't like onions, sometimes I do. It depends on my mood or what I have on hand at home, or if I'm at the grocery store or whatever. So we've got our garlic cooking, we've got our ginger seasoned and flavoring our ground turkey meat, and then we're gonna add the coleslaw. So you wanna do about, I don't know, you could do 14 to 16 ounces of coleslaw. In this package here, we've got 16 ounces. So we're gonna go ahead and dump all of this entire package into my mix here. So it's just gonna take a minute to get it all in there. You can stir it around a little bit to help smooth it down. Again, you wanna make sure that you've got a big skillet, a wok or skillet that has a higher sides, because we're putting so much into this recipe. So we'll just cook it down. Now here's the trick. If you're wondering how in the world do you get this cabbage to cook down effectively? Well, I've got it for you. You're gonna add 1/4 of a cup of water. So we're just gonna pour that water in now. So it'll kind of help create a steam bath for the coleslaw. As you can see, I'm struggling to get the rest of this out of the bag here. But usually you can take some scissors and just rip it open. But there we go. We've got 16 ounces of coleslaw into our mix. Now it seems like a lot, but I promise you it's going to cook down. So we're just gonna start stirring it up a little bit. It's okay if it kind of falls out of the pan. You can always clean up your workstation when you are finished. We're just sitting here cooking it up. It'll take a minute to cook all the way down, and you can always up that heat just a little bit more. So we added our 1/4 a cup of water. You're welcome to add more water into it if you want to, but if you're not, we're actually going to be putting a little bit more liquid into it. It's just going to take a minute for it all to cook down. If you wanted to, you can always take a lid to your pan. It always helps get things to cook down a little bit longer, so we'll do that. But the rest of our ingredients, and this is what really gives it its Asian flavor. So we did the water, we did the garlic and the ginger, and those are obviously staples within an Asian flavor palette. But we have our low sodium soy sauce, and then we also have sesame oil. Now this is going to be key. You're going to use your sesame oil versus any other oil, and it's going to give it that nice toasty flavor. Then we're also adding some sriracha, so you can add whatever hot sauce if you don't have regular sriracha on hand. I love this one. It's got a little bit of an extra flavor too with the Tabasco in it. And then we've got 2 eggs as well. So we're going to add those eggs in here in a second. You're going to crack them. You're going to let them kind of fry up into the pan. We'll make a little room for it once everything is kind of sauteed down, and then we're mixing it all together, and then boom, you've got your egg roll in a bowl. What I love about this recipe, it usually gives you about 3 servings. If you're you know, kind of measuring it all out equally, you can divide it into 4, but you'll probably want to supplement if you're going with the smaller serving size. So it's looking pretty good here. I'll probably pop that lid back on in a second. We'll just stir it around a little bit. Oh yeah, you can definitely see that the cabbage is starting to wilt quite nicely. So we'll probably pop that lid back on in just a minute to let it wilt down a little bit further before we crack our eggs into our bowl. So an inside out egg roll, exactly. It's not an egg roll unless you've got the eggs in it. All right, otherwise it's known as a spring roll. At least that's what I'm assuming. I don't really know, to be honest with you. So we're gonna keep cooking it down. Looking great. It's starting to smell good. You can smell the garlic, you can smell the ginger. I tell you what, whoever realized that garlic was the secret to all delicious recipes, hats off to you. It's my favorite thing to add into any meal, whether it's powder, whether it's raw fresh garlic. It's looking pretty darn great. Oh yeah, you can see this really starting to wilt nicely and to cook down. So what I love about the coleslaw mix, it has the cabbage in it. It also has shredded carrot. So you really don't need to do anything else. You can always buy a head of cabbage. You can always shred your own carrots or whatever you want to do. You can add extra like peas or edamame into this if you wanted to. But if you're just keeping it simple, you got your ground turkey, your coleslaw mix, you're ready to rock. All right, I think what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna go ahead and crack in my egg into the mixture. So what I did is I made a little bit of space in the pan, as you can see. I've got 2 eggs here. Again, when you're cracking an egg, you want to not crack it into the pan, because if you have a shell, then you're gonna have to fish it out. So I'm gonna crack it on a hard surface, just like that. We're gonna drop it into the pan here. There we go. And it's okay if it breaks, because we are going to stir it up. There's the first egg, second egg, here we go. We're just gonna crack it right into that pan, just like that. It's gonna start cooking down. Okay, use my fingers, wipe my fingers off here. And as it continues to cook down, we're gonna let it cook just a little bit longer, just like that. And then we're gonna start folding it into our mixture. And it's okay if you start folding it in sooner. Again, you don't need it to be a chunky egg, and this is the secret to making fried rice, a secret to making an egg roll in a bowl. We're just gonna start folding our mixture into it. It's what gives it the extra protein, extra flavor. And just kind of keep folding that in just like that. Oh, it looks great. I can't wait. Can't wait to start adding all the extra flavors and then tasting this. It's gonna be delicious. All right, we're just mixing it around just like that. It looks wonderful. It smells wonderful. I can actually smell the ginger in it too. So we talked about the garlic, but because we added that ginger, it's gonna be great. It's gonna give it a really nice, unique zing to it. I love ginger in a lot of different recipes as well, but especially when it gets to be used in cooking versus like a ginger juice or a sauce. All right, this looks wonderful. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually go over here and I'm gonna lower the heat just a little bit. We're gonna put 1/4 of a cup of soy sauce into it. So I've got my handy dandy measuring cup here. I'm gonna pour in 1/4 of a cup. We're just gonna mix that in there. Looks great. We're gonna let those flavors kind of simmer together. Now while I let that simmer just a little bit more, I'm gonna give it a quick stir, and then I'm gonna show you one bit of chopping that we're gonna have to do. but that's it. This is literally like the most simple recipe because you don't have to really cut anything. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna cut up our green onion, then we're gonna add in the rest of our sauces. Everything's gonna be good. Now the green onion is just to give it added extra flavor. You can put it on the top if you want to, or you can actually mix it in. And I just used about 2 stalks of the green onion. So we used the white half of it earlier to saute into our meat. And now we're just gonna chop all of that up. Then we're just gonna throw it into the pan, just like that. Looks great. And then what we want about a half a tablespoon of the sesame oil. That's gonna give it that nice burnt flavor. So we're gonna put that in there, just like that. I might add a little bit more because you just never know. And then depending on how spicy you like things, I would say a half a tablespoon. But for me, I'm just gonna squirt it in here and see how it turns out. I like to make a little bit of a design because I like a little kick in my food. There we go. All right. And that is it. That is literally your inside out egg roll. You just let those flavors simmer together, throw it in a bowl, and you are macro friendly. It's about 3 servings, 335 calories. You're getting 9 grams of protein in this dish. When you divide it up by 3, it's gonna be killer. So check it out and let me know how it goes. We'll be right back after this.
Good morning, Vail.
Welcome to Hiring America, the television program that helps veterans find jobs and transition back into civilian life. Hi everyone, I'm Gigi Stone Woods. I'm truly honored to host this vital program. Reach out to the opportunities you see on this program by logging onto our website, hiringamerica.net, and by following us on social networking sites such as Twitter. We'll keep that information available throughout the broadcast and on our website 24/7. Now, let's get down to business.
Welcome to Nantucket Rope Bracelets. All of our stylish bracelets are handmade in our Nantucket workshop, using only the best non-shrinking line with soft, flexible finish. Find us at nantucketropebracelets.com and order your beautiful piece from Nantucket today.
Good morning, Vail.
Welcome back to Good Morning Vail. Well, here in the Valley, we've got all kinds of different people to help, whether it's, fitting you for a bike or talking about running shoes and things like that. But let's talk a minute about growing your wealth. I've got Holly Johnson with Growth Solutions Coaching sitting next to me. Holly, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you, Kevin?
Well, great. Thanks for joining me. Now, you have got a all-star studded cast that's going to join you on a Lunch and Learn coming up. I'm very curious. Let's hear a little more about that.
Yeah, so it's called the Wealth Building Seminar, and it's a group, these 3 individuals, Bonnie Marlette and Michelle Martinez and Rod Fishkin, are part of a network and referral group that I'm the territory leader for. And we have a professional development component of that every quarter, and this quarter was on referrals and helping everyone build their business. And so I said, well, I'm not buying a house right now. I don't know of anybody, and I don't need a mortgage, and I'm on a financial path. But where's their need here? And I'm a profit acceleration coach, so working with people on their finances, their profitability, that stems not only usually why they want to be profitable or more profitable in their business's life is because they want to do more in their personal life. So how do we take what you're doing and make it better? Or take a desire that you have, for instance, being a first-time homeowner in the Vail Valley, or scaling up, scaling down, and having this panel be a resource and advisory board to you.
Right. Now, are you seeing any trends? Like we talk about growing wealth and learning a little more about how banks and finance can help you, and then getting with someone like you that's a coach. Are you seeing a certain demographic come to you seeking advice, or is it kind of across the board?
Well, most people, and why people hire coaches is they're at a point and they want to go here, but they don't know how. They've been the business owners that I work with have typically been in business for several years. They want to scale, they want to start planning on their exit strategy. Most small business owners want to sell their business. And there are certain things that make them more valuable to somebody who wants to buy a business doesn't want to go in unless they want to pay 30 cents on the dollar to fix it. They want to go in and find something that is a smooth running machine that can thrive without the owner being there. So I extract information from the owner's head and put it on paper and start developing policies and procedures for them. And that's not dissimilar when you look at a personal finance life. You just need some policies and procedures, and you need a little tweak here and a little tweak there, and all of a sudden small incremental changes lead to compounded growth. It's what the stock market is based on a good year.
And I guess, what you hit on there is if you're selling your business or buying a business, or if you're in the middle of succession planning, because a lot of people are getting ready to pass businesses on to a younger generation, and maybe that younger generation just doesn't have that knowledge on what to do and the financial wherewithal to actually make that business. And that's where a coach can come in and go, look, here's kind of the steps you need to take to make sure this business continues.
Right, and that goes into your own personal life too. I mean, if you're in a succession plan, you need to look at if you have real estate investments, how can you minimize how much you give to the government? Let's face it. And that's what Rod Fishkin's really an expert in. He goes, yeah, I'm a real estate broker, but I'm really more of a real estate planner. What is your plan? And then how can we maximize that? And do you need a trust or don't you? Fortunately, Colorado has a lot more, things don't go into probate here, or we have a very flexible probate system, where in California, if you go into probate because you haven't planned things out, then it's 2 years. And then all of a sudden the family member has this, but they're not quite prepared to still be carrying the mortgage or things like that, and that's where it starts getting really sticky.
Well, even the legal fees that come along with it, you just can't work with the court. You have to have an attorney, a real estate attorney, to kind of help you through that. So unfortunately, the taxes, like you pointed out, and then the attorney fees can just take away any of that estate that was left.
Right. And I have a painting client who, he just kind of, I'm making really good money, and then all of a sudden he's buying a house and he has a baby and he's going, oh my God, I can't just take the winter off anymore. And so then he starts going to the other extreme of just working all the time, and he's burnt out and he's fried, and we're going, okay, the 7 areas of a successful business, 2 of those are around spending more time with family and friends. Let's face that's part of our quality of life. And working less and making more money. So how do we do that? And that's where the other 5 areas come in.
Yeah, that sounds perfect. Those are the 2 things I want to do.
Well, yeah,
make more money and not work as much.
And that's the motivators. A lot of people want to break to 7 figures. I've done that too. I broke 7 figures and hated my job. And I'm going, okay, so wow, that's great. I'm making all this money right now, but what does it really mean? Well, and so is it your college? Is it your kid's college education? Is it that vacation with your wife that you haven't had in 2 years, or even date nights because you had a baby and you haven't gone on a date in 2 years? And people just get caught up in this kind of snowball and roller coaster effect, and they just are on the train and they don't know how to get off.
Yeah. Now, we were talking before we went live on it's about spending habits, and putting a little bit aside makes a big impact. We talk about, you hear it all the time. Professional athletes that are making millions of dollars in these contracts, by the time they're done, they're broke because of their spending habits. Now, what advice do you have for some of the younger viewers out there to get started on a path of financial success?
Just allocate anything. Even start with $20 a month that you put into your retirement fund, a savings account, or whatever. That, financial advisors say, 3 to 6 months of your cost of living expenses every month in a pretty liquid savings account. Now, fortunately, there's a lot more high yield savings account where you can transfer in and out. You don't have to have minimums and things like that. But even 4 to 5% on that is better than, I don't even know what a bank checking account is giving you right now. It's ridiculous. And so somebody told me, I don't know where it was, that if you start putting aside $100 a month when you're 20 years old, you will be a millionaire by the time you're my age. We're not even going to go to my age. It's not that long. I'm not that old. But again, and even my financial advisor, I'm somewhat embarrassed, but I'm not different from a lot of people. Divorced in my mid-50s. We were living in our retirement, had made some really good real estate investments, owned a property in Vail and a property in Sarasota, Florida. And all of a sudden, I'm down to one house, and I don't have a retirement fund. And so whenever I got hit with things, I was just borrowing from Peter to pay Paul all the time, and racking up credit card debt. COVID ate my business. So divorce, COVID eating my business, and then trying to carry 2 mortgages, and I am just flooding in credit card debt. So you just have to kind of backpedal and go, okay, how am I going to chip away at this? And then I just started that momentum. And when you have momentum, it's amazing how things just start multiplying on their own.
Yeah. You start to see that savings account build up, and it gives you the confidence and then security that goes along with it.
Right, and just knowing that, and you don't touch it unless you absolutely have to. And so I do I pay quarterly HOA dues, and so I just I put that in my savings. I'm like, I could pay it monthly to them, but I'm just giving them my money. I might as well make a little bit of money off of it and then just pull it out, and it takes 3 or 4 days to get it into your account.
Now, you and your panel, October 1st, over at the Gypsum Recreation Center from 11:30 to 1, it's a lunch and learn, growing wealth. So people need to get out there. If they have questions, this is a perfect time to get out there, ask some questions that you've got. It's going to be a lot talking about, housing. We spoke about housing in the Valley and how someone can get housing because it's so expensive, and there's not a lot out there. But this would be a good panel to get in front of, have some questions answered, listen to some expert advice on how to build your financial wealth.
Yeah. It's great. And, we have a mortgage broker, Bonnie Marlette, that I mentioned earlier, and she really specializes in working with first-time buyers. I mean, she can go up to jumbo loans too, but, most of the higher multi-million-dollar homes, those are still cash deals now. People are just pulling money out of their stock market and just diversifying. And then we have Michelle Martinez, who is with Rise Up Planning, and she is a financial advisor, works predominantly with women, but also in their spouses, because a lot of women, I thought my husband was going to take care of all this stuff, and okay, now it's up to me, to give them the confidence to know that they can control and manage. And more women are working and have control over their own money. And how do you plan for that and not find yourself blindsided? And then Rod Fishkin, who I mentioned, broker and real estate planner with Keller Williams, and just they're not there to try to preach or tell or whatever. They're going to give a short 10-minute maybe kind of overview of the market and some opportunities. It's really more of an opportunity for people to come and ask questions and figure out, walk away with one thing that you're going to do that is going to help you move your financial future forward.
Right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Holly. So all of you get out there if you're interested in growing your financial wealth. It's going to be October 1st from 11:30 to 1, and to start you off, it's going to be a free lunch. Mountain Recreation there at the Gypsum Recreation Center. You'll see Holly and the rest of the team out there to talk to you a little bit about what's going on and answer some of your questions. We'll be back soon with more Good Morning Vail.
Good morning, Vail.
It's time for the best coverage of the top stories in sports. The Sports Wrap with Jason Page starts now.
How do you make Anthony Edwards the face of your franchise if you're the Minnesota Timberwolves? We'll get into that.
And we say hello to our good friend Matt Verderam, who hangs out with us from SI.com. Their NFL insider, one of them, is hanging out with us on the program today.
Did you see Caitlin Clark last night? She put up a 40-burger, hits the game-winning three as time expires. Let's turn our attention to the Denver Broncos, one of the NFL's most dysfunctional situations.
The Sports Wrap with Jason Page.
From small towns to big cities and everywhere in between, we're covering the great things that are happening right now in the USA. This is Positively America with Ernie Anastas.
Each week, we're going to focus on the great things that are happening every day in the USA. We'll feature change makers.
In every older person, there's a younger person saying, how did this happen?
Innovators.
I talk about design the way some people might talk about like the person they're in love with.
Doers and dreamers.
You can use that recognition to pay it forward.
Ordinary Americans accomplishing extraordinary things.
When you smile, you receive one back most of the time.
We're going to prove to you that optimism and hope are paving the way to an even brighter tomorrow.
We've got a lot of programs that are specifically focused on the children of our fallen heroes.
At Positively America, our mission is to feature good news.
For the latest and greatest trends in pop entertainment, Popstar Today brings you compelling celebrity lifestyle stories that matter most to you. From movies, music, TV, and streaming shows, to fashion, social media influencers, and the latest on who is seeing who. Join host Elizabeth Stanton as she digs deep and dives in. This is Popstar Today.
You know TV8 Vail has great local content, but did you know about our production services? Hire an expert to develop your website reel, commercials, live stream events, studio production, and more. If you can dream it, we can help you do it. TV8 delivers high-quality content in both English and Spanish. Contact us today to discuss your next project. Email Danielle at tv8vail.com or call 970-628-9881.
Good morning, Vail.
Welcome back to Good Morning Vail. Let's take a look outside at that beautiful local weather. Getting up today, 48 degrees, a high today of 78 degrees, light winds out of the southwest, 5 to 10 miles an hour. So beautiful, beautiful day out there today. That I-70 corridor lit up with sunshine, 87 in Denver, 78 in Vail, 79 in Avon, and 82 over in Eagle. So just a beautiful day out there. Last night was beautiful. You could see those stars out there. And tonight, a little bit of the same. 48 degrees, clear skies, sun setting at about 6:58. So it's going to be, those days are starting to get just a little bit shorter, but still just a beautiful, beautiful time coming around this September. Now, 5-day, got a little bit of precipitation moving in Friday, but tomorrow, just absolutely beautiful day again, 76 degrees and that sun out. And again, 40% chance of precipitation moving in on Friday, but that's going to clear up for a weekend of sunshine, 75, 74 on Saturday and Sunday. Those lows aren't too low, 45 and 46 degrees. And then Monday heading in to the week with some mostly sunny weather and some temperatures in the mid 70s. So again, just amazing temperatures out there and boy, those leaves look incredible. So get out there, do some hiking and biking, and take part in what Mother Nature has created for us out there in the beautiful Rocky Mountains here in the Vail Valley. Now, coming up next, Avija had a chance to sit down with a climber that tried to summit one of the big mountains. We'll see which one it is.
Mount Everest is as unforgiving as it is irresistible to the throngs of climbers who visit every year with dreams of making it to the top. Dr. John Kodrowski from Vail was one of those visitors with big dreams in 2012 when he arrived at Everest for the first time. He almost made it to the top when a disastrous windstorm developed.
I had to quit because it was blowing 100 miles per hour, and I helped a couple other people to safety that night, and then I went back to base camp and rested for like 3 days, but I was like 800 feet from the summit and had to turn around. So basically, actually, when you look at this photo, how close I was to the summit, turned around, went back, rescued a few people, brought them to safety with some other Sherpas and friends that were up there, and then I got back to the base camp and thought, oh, this is it for me.
But an invitation from a great Sherpa changed his plans.
One of the Sherpas named Jangbu was the Sirdar, which he's the head of all the Sherpas that were overseeing the other members that had hired a Sherpa. And 2 of our members were still in camp 2, and he was in base camp with me, and he's like, hey, John, like, I have to go back up to oversee these other clients anyway with their Sherpas. What are you gonna do? Do you wanna climb back up? I know you don't have anybody to climb with. Do you wanna go with me? And I was like, yeah, because it would be like if LeBron James asked you to play horse, like, would you say no? Like, this guy Jangbu had summited 12 times.
Kodrowski was one of the lucky ones who made it to the summit that season. 7 others died just days earlier from exposure, exhaustion, and other injuries related to high altitudes. The list of ways Mount Everest can kill you is long, but that didn't stop Kodrowski from returning 6 more times, and in some cases bringing some high-profile friends along with him. Here he is with Grammy-nominated artist Mike Posner in 2022. And with fitness entrepreneur Devin LeVake in 2024.
Good morning for the top of Mount Everest.
Who set the world record for highest altitude backflip while on the summit. Kodrowski has turned his love of adventure into a lucrative business as a one-on-one guide.
A long-term goal of Mount Everest is $250,000 with the right program.
Some critics say that summiting Everest has become increasingly accessible to wealthy and inexperienced climbers, causing overcrowding and deadly traffic jams. Kodrowski agrees and says respect for traditional climbing methods has been lost in recent years.
It wasn't these big siege tactics where the expedition is a huge operation. There's a bunch of Sherpas carrying loads to camp 2 and 3 and 4. They're carrying oxygen up there. The early expeditions, they didn't really have as much Sherpa support on a lot of them, and people weren't paying much, so it was before commercialization. So the mountaineers would climb and still take a rest day or 2, but then they'd carry another load and carry it up to camp 2, and then they'd come back, and then they'd maybe, instead of resting for 3 or 4 days, they'd rest for a day, and then they'd go back up, carry another load. And so that traditional expedition style is being lost and being absorbed by commercialization now, where the goal has been now to make it as easy on the client as possible, which then lends itself to allowing everybody and anybody to go. And that is leading to problems, though, in Nepal especially, because Nepal is taking the money for the permits and the expeditions from the companies that are bringing people there. The companies are charging a bunch, but it's also not allowing people to screen their clients. So anybody thinks they can just, oh, I see a photo on Instagram and I can go climb Everest. And that's just not true.
Are you part of the problem of the commercialization?
I mean, I'm bringing people there, yes, but I feel like my ethical duty is the models of which and the ethics of which I stand for and the preparation for clients is within the realm of safety and leave no trace ethics and ethics for the mountain, picking up your trash, and the style of climbing, meaning like, for example, if you leave the South Col at 7 or 8 p.m. to summit, you're summiting at sunrise, and then you're getting down and back to the high camp before 9 or 10 a.m. And that's how you're supposed to climb Everest. A lot of these teams that come with people that are either not fit enough, climbing too slow, haven't properly acclimatized, we're taking 3 times that long, and then they run out of oxygen, and they're just not prepped in the ethics of how to properly climb the mountain.
Knowing how to properly acclimatize to high altitudes can mean the difference between life and death.
Everest takes a long time for your body to adjust to the altitude by going high, sleeping low, going higher, sleeping lower, and it's a 4 to 6 week process. People don't understand what true acclimatization is, and they'll go and try to climb to Camp 1, Camp 2. They'll stay there. They won't come back to rest and recover. Then they'll go up and try to climb to 3 and 4 and go higher, and then just try to summit without coming down to rest and acclimatize. And so that's becoming a problem, because then people, when they're unacclimatized, take too long on summit day and they get into trouble, and then they steal bottles of oxygen that they need that are left up there from other expeditions that have carried it up there for their summit. So, last year we had a scenario where we had 70 some bottles stolen from the high camp by teams that were up there before they should have been up there. This year we got netting and locked them up so that no one could steal our bottles. And that's starting to become an ethical problem that Nepal is still letting happen, because they'll take permits, money from anybody, and they'll allow anybody to come, versus the north side of Everest on Tibet doesn't allow it that way.
I reached out to Thakur Raj Pandey, Senior Vice President of the Nepal Mountaineering Association, to get his response to claims that Nepal issues too many permits leading to deadly overcrowding. Pandey agrees there is overcrowding, especially in May and June. However, he says the Nepalese government is starting to implement new policies that will help, such as the one permit policy, where a single authority would be responsible for issuing and managing all permits for a given region, making it easier to track climber information and enforce regulation. Another new policy Pandey mentioned was requiring climbers to have climbed a minimum of a 7,000 meter mountain before attempting Everest. He says this will divert climbers to other mountains in Nepal. Kodrasky thinks this is a good solution, not only for overcrowding, but for training as well.
Train mountains with mountains. You should train for the highest mountain in the world by climbing actual mountains. The gym can kind of help. Step ups, weightlifting, but there's nothing better than going out and doing the real thing to prepare for the real thing. I think that's very true with life.
There are many similarities between life and mountain climbing.
The summit of Everest! So awesome to be up here!
Which may explain why so many people risk everything to do it. Kodrasky says the mountain is a metaphor for life's challenges and obstacles, and mastering the mountain means mastering one's own mind by pushing through fear and uncertainty.
Did it! Now we gotta get down safe.
He says the mountains belong to everyone, but you just have to be safe, patient, and well prepared to make it to the top. For TV8 in Vail, I'm Avija Scarborough.
Good morning, Vail.
Experience the beauty of fall on the rails of the Leadville Railroad. Take in the cool mountain breeze as you climb to 11,000 feet to watch the vibrant reds, oranges, and golds of fall come alive. Enjoy delicious hot beverages, learn some history, and relax with family and friends. Create fall memories in the heart of the Rocky Mountains. Offering daily trips, the weekend specials sell out fast. To secure your seat, book today at leadvillerailroad.com.
Every day around the world, when tragedy, danger, and disaster strike, when life and death hang in the balance, we look to the heroes among us.
TV8, there's more for you on 92. Serving the local community 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Good morning, Vail.
Welcome back to Good Morning Vail. Well, here in the valley, the music kind of makes the valley go by and makes it go round. It's kind of the inspiration to a lot of things that happen here and around the world. Well, I'm fortunate enough to be meeting today via Zoom with Maisie Kay, a songwriter and singer who is absolutely exceptional, full of passion, and is on tour, is going on tour around the United States and around the world. And we're going to talk about that with Tori Kelly. Good morning, Maisie.
Hello, good morning.
Well, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Where are you located right now?
Yeah, we are in Salt Lake City today. We just drove in yesterday from Vancouver.
Nice. Now, you have been in the U.S. how long now? About 10 years?
Yeah, 10 years, I would say.
And you moved over from the UK. How was that adjustment coming over to the United States?
It was interesting. I think I missed the nature a lot. I grew up in the countryside in England, and so to go from that to a big city is obviously a big change, but it was definitely necessary to just sort of pursue music on a more professional level.
Now, let's talk about your inspiration and how you got started in music. Who was your inspiration, if there's one person or multiple?
The first name that comes to mind is Freddie Mercury. He's been my idol since I was a very little girl. I love Queen.
And so from that inspiration, you started writing songs and singing.
Yeah. I originally did more musical theater things, but then when I was around 13, I switched to making more like singer-songwriter type records.
And how's it been touring with Tori Kelly?
Oh, it's been lovely. I mean, she's absolutely wonderful. Her crew's really lovely. The stages have been really fun. I've been having a really lovely time. Yeah, it's been awesome.
Good. Now, one thing I really love about you and your music is that passion that you put behind it. Now, looking at some of the interviews you've done and talking about the songwriting that you've done, and I think one was the Technicolor Honeymoon was one that I looked at, and listening to you describe each phrase of that song, it just allows a deeper connection between the artist and the fan.
Yeah, absolutely. I wrote Technicolor Honeymoon and the whole Wanderlust EP really from a very personal place in my life. So it's sort of like a mini diary, I guess, of what I was going through at the time, which is kind of fun.
And I love some of your quotes, how you describe love and have love in the titles. And obviously from a religious standpoint or a spiritual standpoint, a lot of that resonates through your music. Is that just a deep part of your heart that comes through?
Yeah, I think so. I think love is a very driving force in my life, and I'm very good, I think, at showing my loved ones that they're cared about. Writing music is one way I do it, but I think, yeah, it's one of the most important things I have in my life, and one of the emotions I definitely feel the strongest, which is why it's so easy to write about as of late, I guess.
Now, as an artist, singer, songwriter, you also like to paint and draw. Is that something you do in your downtime to kind of relieve pressure, stress, to get away?
Yeah, it's like a fun hobby. I think it's nice having a hobby that isn't like a job. I obviously love music and I would still consider music a hobby, but it is also my like day-to-day job. So drawing is just something I do when I have the time to really just sit down and concentrate on something for a few hours. It's very therapeutic for me, I think.
And also, I heard that you also design all of your album covers.
Yeah, I have a lot to say in every single piece of art that goes out and all my merch. I really love being involved in the creative process, so I'm heavily involved in every step of it.
Now, someone that doesn't know that, when they look at your album covers, is there something that you want them to focus on that kind of, again, talking about resonating music with the passion, is there something in those album covers that maybe speaks to the music?
I think so. I think I try to pick something that's a good representation of the artwork. So for my latest EP, I have a picture of me with the moon and these big angel wings, and it's supposed to just sort of encapsulate this big, dreamy, romantic feeling, I think, where, you know, the wings are there and the gesturing towards the moon, and it's all very dreamy. And I think that was very intentional for me and for that EP specifically.
Yeah. Now, as a little girl, could you even dream of being where you are right now?
I think I'd always hoped I would be doing something like this. I don't know that I could imagine me being exactly where I am right now. I think it's been really fun, especially these last 2 years, going on tours. This is only my second ever tour. Last year was my first ever tour. And there's really a whole other part of my job and my life that I didn't really know about until last year when I started touring. So no, I don't think 10-year-old me could have comprehended that.
Well, it's amazing. Your music is beautiful, very inspirational, and I tell you, if to the viewers who haven't listened to Maisie K, there's a reason she's rising to the top of the pop charts, because there's a lot of passion, compassion, love in this music. So make sure you get out there and listen to it. Now, Maisie, you're also a big animal lover. Let's hear about your collection of pets.
Yeah, so at the moment I have a cat, I have a bearded dragon, I have a white tree frog, and I also raise butterflies in my spare time from caterpillars, and then I release them. So I temporarily have up to 20 caterpillars in my home at any given time.
That's incredible. What is there to come now with Maisie K? Where are you going to go? Where do you see your dreams taking you now?
Yeah, so I have a part 2 of my Wanderlust EP called Wanderlust the Dusk coming out in October, so that's really exciting. And I'll be on tour until November. In 2025, I think I'd love to maybe work on either like a debut album. I know one day I would love to get to have my own tour and be a headliner. I've never done anything like that. I think that would be a really cool experience to have. And that doesn't seem too crazy of a goal. I feel like that's achievable.
I think it's definitely achievable. Seeing your success now at such a young age and how you've come up, I see a Maisie K tour coming up in the very near future.
Oh, thank you. Fingers crossed.
Well, Maisie, thank you so much for joining us today. We can't wait to hear more about your tour and see that new album that's going to be coming out. And again, when I say passion in your music, that's an absolute understatement. The love and everything that resonates is incredible. Keep doing what you're doing.
Oh, thank you so much. That really means a lot. I will.
All right. We can't wait to see you pass through the Vail Valley sometime soon.
Yes, thank you.
We'll be back with more Good Morning Vail.
Good morning, Vail.
One of the longest-running syndicated television series is back, America's Black Forum, a weekly series highlighting the latest in our lifestyles, business, entertainment, and finance. We introduce you to entrepreneurs who are making their mark in the business world and leaders who are fighting for change.
Welcome to America's Black Forum.
Tune in each week to know what's happening in our world today on America's Black Forum.
I'm Amy Goodman, host of Democracy Now! Our independent news hour offers diverse perspectives and unique opinions, often unheard in the mainstream media, live as the news unfolds. Tune in for Democracy Now!, the War and Peace Report, weekday mornings at 9 and evenings at 6 on TV8 Vail, Comcast Xfinity Channel 92. There's more for you on Channel 92.
Tune into Coffee with America and start your day in the right direction, where we go over the latest and greatest in health, lifestyle, entertainment, and more. Start your day off on Coffee with America.
I'm Danella Richard. I've made a career traveling the world. I've worked for some of the biggest names in travel, and now I've traded in my business suit for a swimsuit. Swimming with the sharks, swinging at the edge of the world, throwing back a few shots, or shall I say spirits. Eating some of the best cuisine, and even making a few furry friends along the way. I invite you to come along with me and discover the world.
Hi there. Are you ready to explore famous neighborhoods from New York City to Kentucky? Watch The Neighborhood with host Nicole Newman. Featuring famous people, unique history, and delicious places to eat and drink. Our viewers get an inside personal look at each neighborhood. With each episode we learn, grow, laugh, and live like a local, not just a visitor. Welcome to The Neighborhood. Check your local program schedule and tune in.
Coming up this season on Ready, Set, Renovate, we see one couple fall in love with a waterfront fixer-upper.
Just, it sort of wrapped its arms around us and said, you want me, and we did.
And watch as another battles over the budget.
We're trying to look through and see where we can trim at this point.
Are you looking to trim it, Ginger?
No.
No. Construction pros show us the right way to renovate.
Well, we had to do a roof over. We had to hand build a lot of the trusses.
As we're putting the thin set down, the self-leveler has a little clip that clips up underneath the edge of the tile.
Hey, it's your boy, Nephew Tommy, your host for an all-new season of Black College Quiz, where the nation's best and brightest display their knowledge of Black history and culture while competing for prizes and scholarships. So get ready to see HBCU Nation take the academic field. Black College Quiz! BCQ! Black College Quiz! BCQ! Black College Quiz! BCQ! Yeah, man.
Good morning, Vail.
Welcome back to Good Morning Vail. Let's take a look outside at that beautiful local weather. Getting up today, 48 degrees, a high today of 78. Again, a perfect day in the mountains with that sun shining. Light winds out of the southwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Now the I-70 corridor full of sunshine, 87 in Denver, 78 in Vail, 79 in Avon, and over in Eagle, it's 82 degrees again with that sun shining. Again, the leaves are absolutely incredible. I think we're just almost at the peak part of leaf peeping season. Tonight, low is 48 degrees, sun setting at 6:58 p.m., so the sun's going to go down a little bit earlier today. Light winds south out of the east, 5 to 10 miles an hour, so not a lot of weather coming our way. So nice night to get out there and again enjoy that stargazing and the beautiful day that we've had in front of us. Now tomorrow going to be a beautiful day as well. 76 degrees, 47 is going to be the low, mostly sunny there. And then Friday going to get that storm that's going to come through, give us a little bit of a drink for Mother Nature. And Saturday, Sunday, Monday, mostly sunny, beautiful temperatures, 75 to 73 degrees. Get out there and enjoy some of those outside activities. Well, we had a great show today. We had Macy May coming on, amazing artist. So get out there, listen to some of her music, very inspiring and filled with passion. So tomorrow we'll be back with more Good Morning Vail. Take a look with some more guests and some of that local weather.
Good morning, Vail. See what lies in store for you. There's so many things to see and do. Summer, winter, spring, or fall. Your home in the Rockies has it all. So get up, get ready to start your day. The coffee's brewing, you're on your way. The fun is waiting outside your door. Good morning, Vail.
You know TV8 Vail has great local content, but did you know